music fills the city of music, Vienna. U.S. Children's Museum exhibits modern-day Seoul. Espoir provides help and care for the homeless. Fusion Korean cuisine succeeds in Shanghai. Hello, welcome to Going Global. I'm your host, Chung Se-mi. How many of you dream of traveling around the world? Recently, a Japanese man succeeded in a special track walking across the length of Africa. He carried everything he needed in a two-wheeled cart. Masahito Yoshida started his journey from the Egyptian port city of Alexandria in September last year and arrived at his destination, the Cape of Good Hope in South Africa, in July this year. Now, this is not the first round-the-world trek for Yoshida. He already finished his journey across Europe, Asia, North America, and Australia in the course of 4 years. With his own rule of not using local public transport during his trip, he has finally succeeded in crossing the African continent. He now plans on crossing the last remaining continent, South America, in September. Hopefully, that will be a successful one too. Now, on that note, let's start off with our first story of the day. Austria has a relatively small Korean community with only about 2,500 Koreans living there. But they recently came together to introduce Korean culture through music. Let's take a look at how Korean tunes fill the city of music, Vienna.
The sweet, clear sound of the flute draws people's attention. A violinist then adds the beautiful melody of the Korean folk song, Arirang. More performers join in one by one, and in no time, the place is filled with the voice of the chorus singing Arirang. The second Korean Culture Festival in Austria has just started.
Es hat sich jetzt irgendwie auch durch diesen Flashmob eine Vorstellung gebildet. Also ich habe gesehen, dass Korea eben ein sehr traditionelles Land ist und stolz auf ihre Kultur und ja, also das hat sich jetzt so gebildet, diese Vorstellung.
Korean music is performed all day long at the Korean Culture Center during the festival. From performances of traditional instruments such as kayagum and haegum to modern music. Korean musicians and students studying and living in Austria have come together to introduce Korean sounds to the city of music, Vienna. A volunteering organization from Korea that helps children with incurable diseases through music talent donation also came to Vienna.
문화교류를 통해서 상대방 국민들에게 우리의 마음을 전하고 또 상대방 국민들을 더 많이 이해하고 이런 교류가 결국은 양국 관계를 다방면의 관계를 강화하는 데 아주 중요한 역할을 한다고 생각을 합니다.
Only about 2,500 Koreans, including students who came from Korea to study, live in Austria. But without getting any outside help, they established a Korean Cultural Center through fundraising 3 years ago.
Das Engagement hier heute, dass Sie sehr daran interessiert sind, Ihre Kultur zu vermitteln, auch ganz verankert sind in der österreichischen Gesellschaft und dass Sie eine lebhafte Gemeinde sind.
For next year's Culture Festival, the Korean community in Austria is planning to introduce more cultural contents, not only music, but also artworks and films.
Introducing Korean culture to the people in Austria through cultural exchange will definitely help the two countries better understand each other. Hopefully, the Korean Cultural Center in Austria will act as a friendly bridge between Korea and Austria and contribute to their friendship. Now let's move on to our next story. The special exhibition is being held in the United States where American children can experience modern-day Seoul and also the Korean society and culture. The exhibition that kicked off in Irvine City, California, is planning to tour 8 cities across the United States within the next 4 years. Let's take a look.
Children are immersed in the Korean traditional percussion performance, samunuri. Taekwondo, hanbok, and other Korean culture are all a novelty to them.
The drum part. Why? Because it was fun.
Children can also learn to do the traditional bow and the customs practiced on the Korean New Year's holiday. This is a Korean culture exhibition held at a children's museum in Irvine in the United States. Categorized in different themes, it introduces what life is like in Seoul and has exhibits on traditional holidays, school classrooms, and streets of Korea.
We do have family living in Korea, but they don't get to see their grandparents all the time, so that's why we came.
We have all the foods, which I think is so interesting, and then just kind of table manners. You know, I think in society today, we so rarely eat dinner together, and so I think it's really important and an interesting aspect of the exhibit to talk about, you know, dining together.
1 out of 10 people in Irvine, California is Korean. As there's a big Korean community here, the exhibition was held to help more people understand Korean society and culture.
We have so many wonderful and respected Korean community neighbors in Irvine that we really need to help all of our children, our youngest citizens, understand their neighbors that they live and play with.
The Korean community has also provided support for preparing and promoting the exhibition. With an average of more than 100 people a day visiting the Children's Museum, they are hoping that the exhibition will be a good opportunity to introduce Korea.
My hope is for a lot of the non-Korean families and children to know and learn a little bit about what Korean culture is and what a day in a life, you know, in Korea is like.
Heart and Soul. Growing Up in Korea, also sponsored by the Korea Foundation, will have a tour in 8 cities across the U.S. within the next 4 years.
Now here's our next story. For many homeless people who have lived on the streets for a long time, it's not easy to go back to normal life and find ways to support themselves. In the city of Colmar in France, an organization allows these homeless to stay in shelter for as long as they want and helps them until they can actually support themselves. Let's take a look.
63-year-old Zhang is patting the goats in the farm. Just until recently, Zhang was a homeless man living on the streets. It's been 3 months since he came here and looked after the farm animals.
C'est pas évident à mon âge, comme je suis quand même assez âgé, de retrouver du travail. Et c'est pour ça que ici je me plais parce qu'il y a de l'occupation.
This place is Klausmut, a farm with accommodations run by a non-profit organization called Espoir, which supports homeless people. A total of 11 people who used to live on the streets like Zhang have come and settled down at this farm. They usually take care of the gardens and animals here.
Un moment de break dans une vie qui peut durer de quelques semaines à quelques mois, quelques années, sans volonté ou sans ambition d'aller chercher du travail ou d'aller trouver un logement ou de se trouver une place ailleurs.
What the homeless need the most is the chance to support themselves financially. Other care facilities offer the homeless a limited time to stay, but this place provides help until they become financially independent. As they stay here and tend to farming and the animals, it even helps them to overcome drug or alcohol addiction. Jeannick Touré, who's been living on the streets since she was born, came here 9 years ago and recovered her health.
Et de là, j'ai plus de béquilles, j'ai plus de corset, je n'ai plus de fauteuil roulant parce que j'ai vécu dans les fauteuils roulants.
Espoir also runs an emergency shelter in downtown Colmar, a popular tourist attraction. It accommodates more than 160 people and offers a space to stay for around $2 a day.
Parce que sinon, si j'aurais pas eu eux, j'aurais eu vraiment que la rue. Parce que j'ai connu la rue aussi. Et si j'avais pas eu eux, j'aurais connu vraiment que la rue, quoi.
The shelter provides accommodations first for the socially vulnerable, such as women and the elderly, people who are sick, or children. There's even a person who's been here for more than 10 years. It's basically open to anyone.
Quoi qu'il arrive, on essaie de prendre le temps avec les personnes. Car, quel que soit le pays, quel que soit le lieu, quelle que soit la personne, quel que soit son âge, le plus précieux, c'est prendre le temps avec les gens. Vraiment de prendre le temps et d'avancer avec eux.
Espoir also helps the homeless get a job after considering their skills and health conditions. Another facility located in Colmar City is this workshop. The workshop receives any goods that are no longer used as a donation, transforms them into ornaments or art pieces, and then sells them. It also helps the homeless to learn how to repair things.
Parce qu'après, c'est aussi un endroit qui crée du lien social, parce qu'on a vraiment une multitude en fait, de personnes qui viennent travailler ici. Et on a des bénévoles, on a des BAS, et on a aussi des personnes qui sont en rupture, on va dire, de lien social.
With its philosophy of never giving up on someone in need, Espoir is helping the homeless, who once turned their backs on the world, return to the society and begin a new life.
Espoir is providing help to the homeless not just temporarily, but until they can actually stand on their own feet. Their philosophy of never refusing to help or giving up on the people who are really in need is something that we can all learn from. Now here's our last story of the day. In the global city of Shanghai, a young man in his 20s is achieving success with fusion Korean cuisine. In a time where even the government is struggling to globalize Korean food, what's the secret to his success? Let's meet Pet Tansu, the owner of the fusion Korean restaurant in Shanghai, The Loco.
It's early dinner time, but the restaurant is already packed with customers. From hot doenjang jjigae or soybean paste stew to spicy tteokbokki. A group of young Chinese enjoys the tasty food with Korean liquor soju. It's a familiar sight to the Korean people.
对，应该是属于是，对，不然也不会来。
The menu is fusion cuisine, dishes mixed with traditional Korean and Western styles, such as cream sauce tteokbokki and pasta served in a hot stone pot. One of the most popular dishes is the pork belly pan steak. You put some leek, kimchi, and a slice of grilled pork belly on a fresh lettuce, then wrap it up. The fusion Korean restaurant is in Shanghai, a city known as the center for worldwide cuisine. The owner is 29-year-old Pei Chan-soo. He's a self-proclaimed gastronome who studied food engineering at college. But how did this young man end up opening up a Korean restaurant in China 3 years ago?
한국에 맛있는 게 얼마나 많아요. 그것들을 그 일부분만 보고 한식을 그렇게 생각한다는 게 저는 너무 답답하더라고요. 그래서 야, 내가 진짜 한번 좀 맛있는 거 내가 소개해줄게, 보여줄게. 이런 마음에서 이제 시작을 하게 된 것 같아요.
Unlike other Korean restaurants that are decorated with traditional clothes or the Korean national flag, the taegukgi, this restaurant has a stylish modern interior. It almost feels like an art gallery with contemporary art pieces from Korea and pottery on display. The restaurant wants to show customers the real side of modern Korea that clicks with the young Koreans these days. There's another thing that Pei considers important: capturing the hearts of Chinese customers with friendly service. He teaches his employees how to greet customers by bowing and then making eye contact with a full smile. It seems like an obvious etiquette, but in China, applying it to the restaurant was not an easy thing to do.
感觉一开始有点不能接受，然后因为要鞠躬什么的，而且我们培训的时候，领班也说我太僵硬了，然后不过做过一段时间的话，还可以的话，挺顺手的。
In the beginning, Pei was poor at Chinese and didn't understand the Chinese culture that well. Once, all of his Chinese employees were about to quit, all at the same time. But after making an effort to try and understand them and do everything together at their level, the barrier between owner and employee and between Korean and Chinese finally came down. The young restaurant owner, who now knows how to communicate better with the Chinese people, is seeking to communicate with customers in their 20s and 30s through social media.
친구들이 원하는 게 뭔가, 내가 좋아하는 것 중에서도 저 친구들이 좋아하는 것이 무엇이 적합한가를 철저하게 연구를 하고 진행을 하면은 제가 봤을 때는 괜찮을 것 같아요.
Last year, Pei's restaurant was the only Korean restaurant that made it to the list of best dining places introduced at one of China's biggest online rating platforms, ranking number 30. With the confidence he has now, Pei plans to open a second location at Shanghai's Kubei area, where a lot of Japanese people live. He believes that the Korean dishes that are popular in Korea right now would also grab the palates of people from around the world.
I hope you enjoy the stories that we shared today on Going Global. Nothing can give you a change of air as traveling. How would you feel if you were to sleep in a sky lodge that's hanging 120 meters above the ground? This transparent capsule hotel is located at Peru's Sacred Valley, and in order to go up there, lodgers must hike a challenging trail using zip lines and ladders. But once they're up there, they can enjoy food and wine, and of course, the beautiful view of the entire valley. The capsule also has interior lamps and a reading light, all powered by solar panels. And the cost for one night is about $300 per person. What an experience it would be to sleep in a transparent capsule high above the ground on a steep cliff. It would be an amazing once-in-a-lifetime experience. Going Global will be back next week with more exciting and fascinating stories from all around the world. Thank you for watching.